is power in the wind. A power that is abundant, affordable, renewable, and at our fingertips. Power to create jobs that are secure and undeniably American. Power that reduces our dependence on fossil fuels and helps us keep a cleaner planet for our children and our children's children. It is the mission of Wind on the Wires to collaborate with wind developers, turbine manufacturers, businesses that provide goods and services to the wind industry, major Midwest clean energy advocacy organizations, tribal representatives, and farmer organizations to work together to overcome the challenges we face and connect our infrastructure to put this wind power on the wires.
Wind on the Wires was launched in May of 2001. Several foundations came together to establish Wind on the Wires, as well as environmental organizations and wind developers. They recognized that we were making good strides in the Midwest on requiring utilities to do an increasing amount of renewable energy, but no one was really working on the technical pieces, the regulatory pieces, the public policy pieces that needed to be put in place to enable a wind market to grow in the Midwest. Wind is important because we need to transform the way we generate and deliver energy. We see the opportunities that wind can bring, transforming rural areas, getting people excited about new types of products and services that they can develop as part of the wind industry. Colleges that are excited about training wind technicians. The Midwest has such a good wind energy resource that we really need to be able to go beyond the policies that we even currently have on the books, because it's going to be so good for the Midwest and for the other parts of the country. The role of Wind on the Wires members is a collaborative one. We really, as staff at Wind on the Wires, try to have a constant dialogue with our members about where we're deploying our limited resources, what issues are front and center for our members, what we really need to be working on behalf of either our clean energy advocate partners or our businesses. And we have been very fortunate over the last 10 years to have such a great membership and staff that works very well collaboratively together. The primary challenges Wind on the Wires faces in bringing wind energy to market are the physical transmission line aspect that we work on. Educating folks on how electricity is produced and delivered. What policies need to drive the marketplace in the Midwest. We are trying to make the production of renewable energy and delivery of that energy more understandable to our key decision makers and to the general public in the Midwest.
One of the major challenges of bringing power to market is transmission. Moving the power from the turbine blades to the consumer. Generating wind is the easy part. Bringing it to the load centers, the cities and businesses where lots of electricity is needed, is the challenge.
Wind can't go anywhere unless you have adequate transmission capacity. You don't use all the wind energy that's produced locally. You have to move the wind energy to the large load centers.
Clearly, transmission is important because we all want to be able to turn on the lights. We don't necessarily think about that when we flip the light switch, but that's how our electricity gets to our home. It goes through large transmission lines and ultimately through smaller distribution lines to make it to your house so that you get all the benefits from that electricity in your home. What comes to me as the two biggest challenges for new transmission are both the cost question and the siting question. Anything that's new that costs something, if there's not a clear direct benefit to people, they don't want to pay for it. It takes some time to come to agreement in terms of who's really benefiting, who's going to pay for it, how do we build these lines. Once we've all agreed that yes, we need a transmission line, then the question is, where are we going to build it? Addressing the challenges is really about working together, whether it's working together on an individual basis with communities and educating them, about the benefits of transmission lines, really working with them to identify areas of concerns. And I think also it means working together on the sort of utility and regulatory process also. Getting a wide number of stakeholders involved so that all voices can be heard, so that we can balance the needs and concerns of all parties and coming to a solution. And then, of course, build the transmission lines that we all need for our electricity, for reliability, and to save our environment.
Shaping public policy is paramount to Wind on the Wire's success in bringing about the changes needed to put wind power on the wires.
We have focused on the policy outreach since the beginning of Wind on the Wires over 10 years ago. One of the keys there is building relationships early and often with key policymakers, state legislators, state regulators at the public utilities commissions that operate throughout the 9 states that Wind on the Wires works in. Our efforts there are around the benefits that wind energy brings to the community and to a state and to a region, economic development benefits, clean energy benefits, diversifying a utilities portfolio and bringing more clean energy, renewable energy, and in this day, clean and renewable energy that's reliable and affordable as well. Universities and community colleges who have now started programs at their schools for renewable energy and to train the next generation of workers who are going to be building the wind farms, who are going to be manufacturing the turbines. You get more of those manufacturing jobs who are focused on doing that, which is another benefit of the improvements that we're making in the technology.
When Wind on the Wires started in 2001, we had only a couple hundred megawatts of wind energy. Today, we stand at about 12,000 megawatts. The future for the Midwest is much larger than the requirements that are currently in law. Because of the good resource that the Midwest has, we are going to generate more than that, and we're going to supply markets in other areas of the country. We need to keep working on being able to integrate a robust amount of renewable energy into the transmission grid. 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 megawatts. All of those numbers are realistic in the Midwest.
Wind energy is creating good jobs and providing important economic development to communities throughout the Midwest. Moving forward, we will create new markets for wind beyond the existing renewable energy standards. We will develop new mechanisms that will allow greater amounts of renewable energy to be incorporated into the regional transmission grid, and we will continue to educate a variety of people on these complex topics. Wind on the Wire's staff and members are uniquely positioned to rise to these challenges.